Hello guys, what's up? Welcome to the new tutorial from the SketchUp Arc Studio. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can create some realistic renders in Enscape, very simple and easy with some few tips. So, you remember this building at the previous tutorial? If you don't watch it till now, please watch it and like it. So, I'm going to show you how you can create some realistic render with this statue in here. So I create some frame before this tutorial and I called it E1 in here. So when I click on it, my camera will set in the position and close the view management. So I'm gonna start my job with the save frame and changing the resolution of this frame. How I can change it? I can click on the visual setting and output and change my resolution from HD to the custom. As you can see, 1200 in 1700 is my aspect ratio and resolution, and this is the final result that you can see in here. So I'm going to click on the main bar and start my job with the field of view. My target, this statue. So I'm going to reduce the field of view and zoom on this statue in here, as you can see. Some number about 20 degree on the horizontal line is really wonderful for this render. So after that, I'm gonna increase my rendering quality to the high mode to see all the changes at the same time. Now lighting is really important. For this reason, I'm gonna only light this target with the sunlight. So I hold shift and right click and move my cursor to see what is the best result for this statue. As you can see, we have many type of lightings in here and it completely depends on the users and architectures. But I prefer to use some type of, for example, faded sunlight about 6 a.m. and hold Ctrl U or I to change the sun direction. Something like that can be really good. So I'm going to minimize the Enscape. I'm going to click on the Enscape material editor, click on the paint bucket in the SketchUp, and now I want to detect this texture from my environment. So I'm going to click on the sample paint, select it, and this is our material. So I can adjust the size of it, very simple and easy. For example, some width's about 5 meter and the height's about 5 meter again. And I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna click on this face in SketchUp environment like that, very simple and easy. Right click, texture and position. So now I can adjust my personal position like that, very simple and easy. As you can see, I can move it in some place like here in the middle of this face and click the exterior place of this 3D model. Alright, something like that is much better than the past. So I'm going to click on the Enscape material editor again, select this texture, very simple and easy with the sample paint, and now I want to play with the roughness to see what happened. As you can see, we have more reflections on it, but I have some problem with the color of this texture. For this reason, if you want to change the color of it, you can reduce the image fade bar in here, something like that. As you can see, some number about 60% is really wonderful. Tint color is about Gainsborough, and main color is about Gainsborough again. So now we have some normal map in here, and I'm going to reduce the roughness to the 16, and Metallica is about 0, and specular for these type of stone tiles is some number near to the 80% or 76%. Alright, something like that is really realistic than the past. And now I want to detect the statue material. So I'm going to click on the sample paint again, pick the material up, and this is the texture that we have in here. The size is not important. So I'm gonna reduce the roughness to see what happened. As you can see, when I reduce the roughness, I have more shiny places on this statue, and it helps you to increase the sun effects or lens flares. So I think some parameter like 14% is really wonderful. If I increase the Metallica, as you can see, it will convert to some Metallica color, and it's really great. So part of the rendering related to the textures and another part related to the materials. So I think some Metallica about 36% is really wonderful, and a specular is about 70%. So I like this material because it's really realistic and it helps my job to make it much better. So I'm gonna click on the E1 in here again. As you can see, some position restart and reset it for me, and I can manage it with some simple steps in here. So it completely depends on your taste and your abilities in rendering, something like that. So I can play with the sun more of it to see more gold material in here. Alright, for these type of renders in the serial renders, you can click on the maximizing the screen, visual setting, and increase a little bit of the outline determination. As you can see, when I increase it, I can see some outlines in my environment, and it helps you to detect the right position of your target and your subject. So some number about 14% is really good. I'm going to turn off the auto exposure to see what happened. It's too realistic, but it's not really useful because most of the screen is dark. So I'm going to increase the exposure manually about 53%. So I'm going to turn on the depth of field, turn off the autofocus, and I'm going to play with the focal point to focus on this statue in here. As you can see, focusing is really important, so be careful which place you are focusing. So 7.46 meter is really good, and depth of field is about 16%. So image bar, like the auto contrast, is really useful, so always check it because it helps you to calculate lightings much faster. And saturation, look at the color temperature and saturation. When I increase the saturation, this render is totally wrong and it's not really perfect. And when I increase or decrease color temperature more than normal, it completely destroys your render. So keep your number about 6100 Kelvina for these type of renderings. We don't create any animation, so motion blur is 0. Lens flare and bloom option. Look at these places in here, these shiny places. When I increase the bloom option, as you can see, we have some rays effect, God rays effect on the camera. So something about 36% and lens flare about 78% is really wonderful. So for the awakenate, I'm going to use 12% and chromatic aberration is 0. So in the atmosphere bar, I'm going to turn off the fog option in here, and sun brightness is really important. So I'm going to play with the sun brightness. When I decrease it, as you can see, these type of renders is completely wonderful and it helps you to create more realistic renders. But I prefer to use more power of the sun brightness, about 84%. Shadow sharpness is something about 100, and you can see the result in the environment, very simple and easy. And artificial light brightness is not important at all, and ambient brightness is not important, and the skybox is not really important. So I'm going to increase the rendering quality to the ultra mode, and this is the final result that we can see in here. So time for the rendering, I'm going to change it to the 2-point perspective and click on the screenshot button, save it on my desktop with any type of name I want, and press save. As you can see, we create this type of realistic render in Enscape, I think under than 10 minutes. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Please support us, and thanks for your watching. Final result you can see in here, something like that, and it's really wonderful. So thanks for your watching, and goodbye.